What is up, YouTube? Welcome back. I hope you're doing well. I hope you guys are having a great start to your week so far. And yeah, welcome back to the channel. We've got more basketball content for you guys today. Now, we've reacted to Michael Jordan, tick. We've checked out Larry Bird, tick. Today, we're going to be reacting and learning more about the man himself, the big man himself, I should say, Shaquille O'Neal. Now, I tried looking up some information about him. Normally, as you guys have seen with the videos, I check out their NBA profile and then we move on to the ESPN profile where they show you all their accolades, the championship wins, MVP, all the awards. But for some reason, there's no page for Shaq. I went on another website. It said website unavailable, right? I go to basketballreference.com. It's just statistics. So there's no information about him. I found this website here, which will give us a brief background on Shaq. So we're gonna sort of skip the high school part, but here we have, let's see, well, he got College Player of the Year in 1991. He lost school and entered the NBA draft in 1992. Was taken with the first pick by Orlando Magic in 2000. Oh, sorry, in Orlando Magic. In 2000, however, he finished his studies and earned a degree. So, NBA. Named NBA Rookie of the Year 1992-1993. O'Neal led the Magic to a 41 record, 20 wins, better than previous season. 2 years later, he won the scoring title and led Orlando to the finals against Houston Rockets. After Houston's sweep of the Magic, O'Neal developed a reputation for losing big games. I heard about this a while back. People used to talk about that. O'Neal's great size and strength. He stood 7 feet 1 inch tall and weighed 315 pounds, made it virtually impossible to stop on the offensive end on the court. He was, however, a poor free throw shooter. Yep, that one I knew. And opponents adopted a strategy known as hack-a-Shaq of intentionally fouling him, knowing that he was less likely to make free throws and score a field goal. That's crazy. So he was a part of the US Olympic basketball team and he won gold medal in '96. The same year he joined the LA Lakers where he teamed with blossoming superstar Kobe Bryant, the one and only. Although O'Neal continued to dominate on offense, his teams continued to disappoint in the playoffs, which then changed in 1999 to 2000, when under the new Lakers coach Phil Jackson, he became the league's most valuable player. He won the MVP. Jackson's urging, O'Neal became more of a team player, paying special attention to his defense, rebounding, and free throw shooting. As a result, he led the Lakers to championships in 2001, 2, and 3 years in a row, capturing the Finals MVP award each year. In 2004, though, after years of on and off feuding with Bryant, which had become a major distraction within the Lakers organization, he was traded to Miami Heat. Okay, I didn't know that one. Then he teamed with the talented young guard Dwayne Wade. I've heard of Dwayne Wade before. To lead Miami to an NBA championship in 2006. Injuries limited O'Neal's production over the following seasons, and he was traded to the Phoenix Suns in February 2008. O'Neal's playing style did not mix well with the Suns' up-tempo game, and despite having a very solid season between 2008 and 9, he was dealt to the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2009 as Phoenix began rebuilding. Okay. He signed with Boston Celtics in 2010, but an Achilles tendon injury limited his play. Again, injuries got the better of the player, man. I was actually replying to a comment made, I think with the Derrick Rose video. You know, it's a shame with these injuries, man. O'Neal retired after 2010-11 season. Damn, I thought he retired like earlier. Okay. His career total includes 28,596 points, the 7th highest total in NBA history at the time of his retirement. And 15 All-Star Game selections. O'Neal was inducted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame in 2016. Obviously, he's been in movies. He's done all that. But yeah, that was just a brief information about Shaq. So we're gonna look at this one. So this is AI information. This shit's crazy, man. Technology, eh? So we're gonna skip the early life, college. Yep, overall by the Orlando Magic 1992. Played for 6 teams during his 19-year career. Magic, Lakers, Miami Heat, Phoenix Suns, Cavaliers, Boston Celtics. He's won 4 NBA championships, 3 with the Lakers, as we just read through, and 1 with the Heat. Inducted in the Hall of Fame, and then he was also inducted in the FIBA Hall of Fame in 2017. I've read of that one. I don't remember what it stands for though. That's my bad. So we're gonna look over his accolades over here, and pretty much he's a sports analyst now. We see him on pretty much all the time now with the playoffs, and yeah, it's a shame though that the NBA profile wasn't there, but it is what it is. I tried to find as much information about Shaq, but I'm sure you guys, when you watch this, you'll be telling me in the comments about what he's done, what he hasn't done, what he's known for. Is he bad at this? Is he good at this? So on. You guys have been carrying this. Trust. So yeah. 1992, round 1, pick 1, 1992. That's right. So yeah, 4 seasons with the Orlando Magic, 4 seasons with the Heat, 1 season with the Cavaliers, 8 seasons with the Lakers, 2 seasons with the Phoenix Suns, and 1 season with the Boston Celtics. Accolades wise, here we go. Shaquille O'Neal. He is a 4-time All-NBA third team, so he won in 1994, 6, 7, and 2009. He's a 3-time All-Defensive second team, won it in 2000, 2001, 2008. 3, sorry. He's been awarded the All-NBA second team twice, 95 and 99. He won the first team AP All-American twice between 1991 and 2. 3-star. Yeah, the 3-star Dragon Ball. Shenron. 3-time All-Star MVP. 3-time Finals MVP. He's a Rookie of the Year 1993. AP Player of the Year 91. He's an 8-time All-NBA first team, spanning between 1998 to 2006. He's won the MVP in 2000, and finally, All-Rookie first team in 1993. So, there's not a lot of information about him out there, like the NBA profile with the others, so this part's going to be shorter. I'm sure some of you might be happy. Maybe you guys don't mind the talking at the beginning of each video when we discover a new player. But I feel like that sort of gave us a solid background on how good Shaq was and what he's achieved, what he's known for, the free throws, not being the best at that, which is fine. But, I mean, he still had an impact on the sport. And he's one of the players as well, like, you don't need to watch basketball to know who Shaquille O'Neal is, you know what I mean? Same with Michael Jordan. They're such big names because of the impact they had on the sport and as well outside of the NBA, So, before we watch this, I want to make sure that the audio works now with OBS, so you guys don't get another muted video.
O'Neal was
perfect. Picks up the noise, the audio. All right, guys. So, Shaquille O'Neal. Also, I think for the majority of the legends, we're going to be watching nonstop, because with nonstop they go over the player's achievement, like the player's career. They give you like a bit of a background in a video, whereas when I was looking at Thinking Basketball and Jimmy, they are more analytical and they use statistics to cover certain aspects of the player's career. That's why I like nonstop, because they give you an overall background on the player. So today's video by Nonstop, how good was Shaq actually? Let's go. Let's watch this.
Shaquille O'Neal was the most brutal force in the NBA, is one of the funniest men alive, and has a net worth of $400 million. But how good was his career really? And where does he rank among the all-time best centers? Road to the NBA. Does size matter? For Shaq, his size made all the difference. At the age of 3, Shaq's mother would carry his birth certificate just to prove that he was not in school yet and could ride the bus for free. Because of his size, Shaq often beat up other kids and was turning into a juvenile delinquent. He nearly got kicked out of 7th grade. The debtor in jail stereotype would have probably been his destiny if it weren't for Sergeant Philip Harrison, Shaq's stepfather. Harrison's Army background and tough love were just the kind of discipline Shaq needed. Shaq would get whooped for bad behavior and Shaq and a fool on the court. Then one day, when Shaq was 13, already standing at 6'7", the size of an average NBA player, Shaq was playing basketball at the Army base in Germany, where Harrison was stationed. And he met Dale Brown, the head coach for the Louisiana State University. "Soldier, what's your rank?" Brown asked. "I don't have a rank. I'm only 13, Shaq responded. "Take me to your father immediately," Brown said, and offered Shaq a scholarship for LSU on the very same day.
That is crazy.
Then moved to Texas, where Shaq became a star for Cole High School. He led his team to a 68-1 record over 2 years and won the state championship as a senior. Schools everywhere were sending O'Neal scholarship offers, but he stayed loyal to LSU and Coach Brown. Then, warming up before his first game for LSU, the whole arena got quiet. Everybody was murmuring and talking about a monster that had just come out to play because Shaq was the biggest human that they had ever seen.
He's a tank.
7'1",
he's a walking tank.
Nearly 300 pounds with a 7'7" wingspan, enormous hands, and size 23 shoes. And it was hard to believe that someone that big can move so fast. Shaq had a relatively modest freshman year at LSU, but in the next 2 seasons, Shaq averaged 25 points, 14 rebounds, and 5 blocks. Even though Christian Laettner got selected over him to join the Dream Team in the 1992 Olympics, there was no question about who's the more talented NBA prospect. The Orlando Magic thought so too, and they selected Shaq with the first pick in the 1992 NBA draft.
Nice,
the biggest kid at Disney World. Shaq was no ordinary rookie. Against the Nets, he broke the backboard, and against the Suns, he brought down the entire basket. The NBA had to change the rules in order for all teams to strengthen their baskets to be able to withstand the Shaq attack. But Shaq was more than a powerful freak of nature. His handles were extraordinary for a man of his size, and he'd run the fast break, just like Giannis does today. O'Neal averaged 23 points, 14 rebounds, and 3.5 blocks per game. He became the first rookie selected to the All-Star game since Michael Jordan in 1985, and was voted Rookie of the Year almost unanimously. And because he dominated the camera and microphone just as well as he did on the court, the all-singing and all-dancing giant became a marketer's dream. After missing the playoffs by 1 game in his rookie year, Shaq's popularity immediately transferred his game to a movie set. He became Neon Budeau, a fictional character in
Neon Budeau,
one of the best basketball movies ever. On the set, Shaq met Penny Hardaway, a star point guard at the University of Memphis. The duo immediately clicked and had great chemistry. Orlando had just a 0.01% chance to get the first pick in the upcoming draft, but they lucked out.
0.01.
Shaq harassed the Magic management to select Penny. Shaq got his wish granted, and everyone believed they would become Magic and Kareem 2.0. In 1994, Shaq averaged 29 points per game on a league-leading 60% shooting, along with 13 rebounds and 3 blocks. He was 4th in the MVP voting, and Penny was the runner-up for Rookie of the Year. Orlando won 50 games in the regular season, but they got punched in the mouth in the playoffs. The Pacers swept Orlando, and the Magic brass realized that they needed to add some veterans, so they signed Horace Grant and Brian Shaw. In 1995, Shaq led the NBA in scoring.
I don't know if anyone that watches follows sort of the bodybuilding, strongman scene, but see, now these 2 names are new for me.
Grant and Brian Shaw.
These 2 names are new to me, so I don't know who Grant is. Or maybe you guys might have mentioned him, but I can't remember. Now, Brian Shaw, now this Brian Shaw, I don't remember. But I know Brian Shaw, the strongman.
In 1995, Shaq led the NBA in scoring. Penny became an
great guy,
all-star.
by the way.
Orlando won 57 games and had the best record in the league. Once playoffs came around, they got past the Celtics and won their first playoff series in franchise.
My headset died. Or my headset's dying, I should say. I should have charged it. My bad.
History. However, nobody expected them to get past the second round, not when their opponent was the Bulls, and Michael Jordan returned from baseball. MJ averaged
since when he came back from baseball.
On 48% shooting, but Orlando had a better team. Their starting lineup all averaged 15 points per game or more, led by O'Neal's 24 and 13, and the Magic won the series
24 and 13.
in 6 games. In the conference finals, Shaq led the way to victory in the deciding Game 7, and Orlando avenged their loss to the Pacers. But the fight wasn't over yet. In the finals, they'd have to play against Hakeem Olajuwon and the defending champions, the Houston Rockets. In Game 1, Orlando had a 3-point
I know Hakeem and Kareem are
are
the same person.
Nick Anderson was at the free throw
I
line.
get it.
He missed both, but got the rebound and got fouled again. He would go on to miss the next 2 as well, and Kenny Smith hit a 3 to send the game to overtime. In the OT, the Rockets would prevail, and this became a huge psychological failure for Orlando. Even though he played a great series offensively, Shaq couldn't stop Hakeem on the other end, and the Rockets swept the Magic. O'Neal later admitted that he was still very immature during that time, and that he and teammate Dennis Scott partied for a week before the finals, instead of preparing. The 1996 Orlando was even stronger than in '95, winning 60 games in the regular season, which is still a franchise record, and they reached the conference finals, a duel with the 72-10 Chicago Bulls. With the addition of Dennis Rodman, the best supporting cast in the league, and MVP Jordan, Orlando had no chance. They got swept.
They covered this in that video we did with MJ.
Nobody thought much of it, thinking that Shaq would remain in Orlando because they had a great team. But then, the ownership started stalling with his contract negotiations, offering O'Neal less money than he wanted. And after 85% of readers in the Orlando Sentinel said that O'Neal is not worth $100 million, Shaq's ego couldn't take it, and he wanted out. So Jerry West
$100 million?
lured Shaq to LA with a big contract, bright Hollywood lights, and one brash 18-year-old shooting guard.
Mr. Kobe.
Shaq's personality was made for LA. He was rapping, making movies, and hanging out with celebrities. But even though he was delivering his usual numbers and led the NBA in field goal percentage, the Lakers weren't very successful and were getting swept in the playoffs. The general public started to wonder if Shaq is truly a great player and if he was committed to winning. After the 1999 season, they hired a 6-time NBA champion head coach, Phil Jackson. In the offseason, Shaq was no longer making bad movies and partying. For once, he spent his summer in the gym, got into the best shape of his life. O'Neal led the NBA in scoring and field goal percentage with nearly 30 points, 14 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 blocks on average. He was just one vote shy of becoming the first unanimous MVP in NBA history. That regular season in 2000, the Lakers won 67 games, which was the 5th best result ever. It seemed like they would sleepwalk through the West and get to the finals.
That is crazy.
The Trailblazers had other plans. In Game 7 of the conference finals, Portland had a 15-point lead in the 4th quarter, and it looked like Shaq was going to swallow another bitter pill. But all of a sudden, the Blazers kept missing. And with 1 minute to go, Kobe threw an alley-oop to Shaq, which
beautiful,
and became arguably the most memorable play in Lakers history. The Lakers did it. They were in the finals against the Pacers, and Shaq was on a mission. Despite a formidable resistance from Reggie Miller and Jalen Rose, they couldn't do anything against O'Neal, who averaged 38 points and 17 rebounds in the series. The Lakers won in 6 games, and Shaq was finally an NBA champion.
There he is.
Was satisfied with winning 1 championship, and he went back to his chilling and partying all summer. So coming into training camp out of shape, Kobe Bryant was pissed, and their relationship started to deteriorate. While Shaq was shedding the extra pounds, Kobe became the Lakers' new best player. And even though the Lakers won 11 games less than the previous year, everything still clicked towards the playoffs. They swept the entire Western Conference, and everybody expected them to do the same against the Sixers in the finals. Until Allen Iverson played one of the best games in finals history. He scored 48 points in the Staples Center, stepped over Tyronn Lue, and stole Game 1 for the Sixers. However, this only pissed Shaq off, so even though he was guarded by the Defensive Player of the Year, Dikembe Mutombo, Shaq came back on another level. O'Neal averaged 33 points, 16 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3.5 blocks. And the Lakers won the next 4 games and the championship. In 2002, Shaq and Kobe and the Lakers continued their dominance. But this year, there was finally a worthy opponent, the #1 seed Sacramento Kings. The Kings played the best basketball all year long, and they had what it took to dethrone the Lakers. But with some bad luck and arguably the worst officiating in NBA history, Sacramento couldn't deliver the final punch. And the Lakers advanced to the finals, where they swept the Nets. O'Neal averaged 36, 12, and 4, and won his 3rd consecutive finals MVP. In 2003, Tim Duncan and the Spurs proved to be too strong for the Lakers, which is why in 2004, LA added Karl Malone and Gary Payton to form a super team. And even
Hold on. So these are new names for me. Gary Payton and Karl Malone. Gary Payton, I don't think I've heard of him before. Karl Malone. I remember reading a few comments with the name Malone. I don't know if there's someone else with that name, or it could be him. I'm not too sure, but let me know, guys, if I should focus on these two as well at some point.
A super team. And even though they were the best team on paper, the Lakers grew extremely dysfunctional. Shaq feuded with Jerry Buss over a new contract and complained about Kobe. Shaq said Kobe
Come
was
on now.
selfish and didn't throw him the ball enough. So Kobe responded by calling O'Neal fat and lazy. But despite all the turmoil,
Oh, dude. Okay, so I see this rivalry that they have. There was a couple of videos I saw on YouTube. I haven't watched them yet, but there's a couple of videos that talk about the bit of the rivalry that these two had. So it's gonna be
Lakers
interesting
were
to
still
watch.
so talented, and they reached another NBA Finals. However, the lack of team chemistry showed its ugly head when it was most important. Kobe was forcing things, and Shaq was successfully guarded by Ben Wallace, which was the first time in several years a player could contain Shaq one-on-one. Detroit defeated LA in 5 games, and it was the end of the road for Shaq and Kobe.
5 games.
His relationship got bad beyond repair. The Lakers didn't want to lose Kobe, and Shaq was too expensive for their taste, so they traded Big Diesel to Miami.
Again.
South Beach. Shaq ballooned to nearly 400 pounds at the end.
So the more I watch this, the more I start adding the pieces together in the sense of, because part of some of the other videos I saw was talking about Shaq being a bully. Obviously, I don't know the details, but based on what I'm hearing, I think this is what they might be talking about, right? Am I on the right track? I mean, it's too expensive. He was complaining about Kobe. Again, I don't know the details, specific details between Shaq and Kobe. That's for another video. But yeah,
pounds at the end of his Lakers.
I'm assuming this is what they're going to be
covering.
covering.
Pat Riley and Miami's 10% body fat policy. So for the 2005 season,
10%.
Diesel got to 320 pounds, wanting to show the Lakers that they should have chosen him over Kobe. He finished second in the MVP race behind Steve Nash, and he's still salty about it. But the Heat had the #1 seed and swept their first 2 playoff series. However, in the conference finals, the Pistons edged them in 7 games. Shaq couldn't let that slide, and in 2006, Miami got back at the Pistons. This time, it was Miami who advanced to the finals for the first time in franchise history. However, the championship was looking unattainable for the Heat against the Mavericks. Dallas had a 2-0 lead and a big advantage in the 4th quarter of Game 3. Thanks to D. Wade, the Heat pulled off an upset and brought the dream back to life. Then, out of nowhere, Miami turned the tables and went on to win the next 3 games and the series.
Oh, wow.
Shaq was clearly second fiddle to Wade, but he delivered on his promise and brought a championship parade to South Beach.
And then that's his 4th one.
As usual, drama followed Shaq, and he nearly fought Pat Riley at practice. His days in Miami were numbered. In 2009, he was named the All-Star MVP together with Kobe, and that was the last highlight of his career. Shaq spent the last couple of years trying to chase a ring next to LeBron in Cleveland and with Boston's Big Three. But Big Diesel was getting older and heavier, so after his Achilles broke in the 2011 playoffs, he was forced to retire.
Oh, that's rough.
Legacy. Shaq was a terrible free throw shooter, and he didn't work hard during practice. He partied like a rock star, and he could have been much better defensively. Phil Jackson said that he was the laziest superstar ever, and that his 2000 MVP year was the only season Shaq was ever in shape. O'Neal's ego also made him clash with teammates and coaches often. But for the first 14 years of his career, Shaq averaged 26 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2.5 blocks. He led the league in field goal percentage 10 times and won 4 championships, with 3 finals MVPs and 1 regular season MVP. If we're talking about the best centers ever, Kareem was the only one who had individual accolades and team success that can match Shaq. And yes, Hakeem was a better shooter and a better defender, and the same is true for David Robinson. Bill Russell has
Damn,
more
that guy's
championships, and
shredded.
Wilt had better individual stats. However, none of those great centers were as dominant as Shaq was in his prime, because there was nobody at his size that moved that fast, ever, not even Wilt. Between 2000 and 2002, O'Neal averaged 30 points, 15 rebounds, and 3 blocks in the playoffs. Kobe was great in everything, but Shaq was the main problem for every Lakers opponent during that era. Many say that if Shaq had an approach to basketball like Kobe, he could have won 10 titles and 5 MVPs. Yeah, Shaq could have worked harder, but he did it his way and had arguably the most fun out of any NBA player ever. Shaq was enjoying life to the fullest, and he still won 4 titles and 6 trips to the NBA Finals. He still ranks among the 5 best centers ever and among the 20 best players in NBA history.
Can you dig it?
Like, where's Booker T? Alrighty. A bit of a interesting video. Unlike the others, where they were sort of committed, dedicated, locked in. You know, they worked hard, they trained hard, injured, whatever, you know, they recovered and they continued sort of improving themselves to be better at basketball. For the sake of Shaq, like they mentioned towards the end of the video, he did things his way. I think it, you know, because he knew that and this is like literally, he stood out compared to the other players, both on his team and the opponent's team, you know. He's just like, yeah, you know, I'm the biggest guy here. I'm fast. No one's gonna stop me. So it seems like he just sort of relied on that aspect and he just played basketball. And like they mentioned in the video, he just partied. He didn't work too hard. Besides, I believe, what was it, 2000 or 2000, between 2000 and 2002, I think it was, where he actually trained, got in shape, and put in the effort to his training so he can be better at playing. And I'm not trying to take away from how good Shaq was. I mean, yeah, I mean, look, 4 championship wins, MVP. But also, from this video, it seemed that he was, you know, what's the word? What's the word for this? A little too confident, or I think he was expecting too much. And that's why he was always arguing and fighting with the coaches. He wasn't happy with the contract that they were giving him. You know, he thought that he was all the way up here. And I'm not saying he's all the way down here, but, you know, it seemed like he was just too stubborn. He wasn't open-minded. He didn't want to be flexible and work with the coaches or with the team. That rivalry with Kobe, as an example, you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, look, he's had a great career. Could he have done better? Sure, if he trained, if he actually put in more effort into his training and, you know, his cardio, his fitness, and not just the cardio and fitness side, but also basketball training. Because, yeah, from this video, it seems like he didn't really put a lot of effort, which is, you know, it's a shame, but at this point, it is what it is, you know. But at the same time, you gotta admire him for sort of doing things his way and living life the way he wants to. Which, I mean, we should all take a page out of that. Like, we should also lock in and work hard, train, you know, achieve the goals we want to achieve. But at the same time, we gotta try and do things our way to shape our life the way we want to, if that makes sense. So it's a bit of a gray area, but, you know, this is my first time sort of learning about Shaq. So for the fans, for the viewers watching, let me know in the comments what are your thoughts on Shaq. What should I focus more on? And then also, for you guys who've been watching basketball for years, what did you guys think of Shaq playing? What's your expert analysis on him? But yeah, guys, great video, again, by Nonstop. It was not too long, not too short. Give us a good background on Shaq from beginning to end. There's plenty of other videos on Shaq, so don't you worry. Same with MJ, Larry Bird, and every single player I'm going to be reacting to. There's so many videos on them. So, you know, and obviously I'm not going to be able to reach or get to every single player this week. I call it Legends Week. This is episode 3. So don't worry about that. If you miss anyone, don't worry. We'll get to them, you know, in the coming weeks. But yeah, guys, if this video has popped up in your feed, or if you're a viewer of mine, I hope you guys enjoyed this. And if you have enjoyed this, don't forget to leave a like, hit that subscribe button. If you want to support more, become a YouTube member. You know, and any money I earn from this content creation goes back into the content creation, so I can continue improving and give you guys better content. But of course, focus on yourself first, and then if you have the money, you can do so. Don't worry about it. But yeah, guys, look, I appreciate you, man. There's a bunch of comments I still gotta read through, and I love doing that. I appreciate all the comments, all the love and support you guys have been showing me. And yeah, I'm not too sure who I'm going to be reacting to next, but I'm going to keep an eye out for the next video. And until the next one, Take care, stay safe, keep on grinding, never give up, alright? See you guys in the next one. Bye! Much love all.